What's up, everybody? I just felt like making a little video today about something that happened last night and this morning, and I'll try to be quick and not give mundane details if they're not needed. But basically, what's been going on with me is I'm still doing my practices, but I'm also getting my sleep naturally. So I do my best to stay aware the whole night, but I do end up sleeping here and there, which is needed sometimes, I guess. But anyway, I'm just gonna get right into it. There's a few things that I'm gonna leave out that happened last night, but related to all this stuff that I've been going through. The first thing that happened, I woke up in my childhood house again. And I heard some heavy metal music playing outside, and I thought that was just curious, and I wasn't lucid. It was just one of those experiences where I woke up and there seemed like there was something important going on, so I wanted to get to the bottom of it. And two people, beings, whatever you want to call them, I woke up in my living room and they met me in my kitchen, and one was one of my past friends from here, and another one, I can't really remember who that was, but possibly someone that he was controlling their vessel. So I believe these two in the kitchen were just deceivers who posted up in my house and use me as protection, but keep me asleep while they steal all my stuff and use my TV screens. And I think it's awesome that they're able to trick me every night and have their way, and basically they're trying to claim my territory and all that stuff. So it's sad because I don't care about any of this stuff. When I got into it, I still don't want to deal with any of it, but I'm dealing with it because I'm constantly under attack every night by all these losers who invade my home and act like it's their home and that they belong there and all this stuff. I don't mind offering help and protection to people I can trust, but if you're coming in with deceitful intentions, eventually you're going to get weeded out, and if you keep doing it, you're probably bad things are probably going to happen to you because you don't belong there in the first place. So after the kitchen, I went outside to check who this was that was playing the heavy metal music, because I asked the guy in the kitchen, who was someone I had over my house. I thought it was a friend, but it's turning out to be otherwise. And I said, "Oh, I thought that was your music." And he said, "Oh no," and he told me it was some heavy metal band. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go check it out. And I wasn't happy to see him there either. I just kind of accepted it and let it go. So I went around to the driveway and I saw a guy out there, and he was in the yard. He looked a little confused. He was on the phone, sounded like he needed some advice on what he needed to do and stuff. And he didn't feel threatening or deceitful in any way. I actually had a pretty good feeling about him. So I kind of blocked his entrance from going in to the house. And then I went around to the driveway, and he turned around, and I just kind of gave him like a hello, and he gave me one back. But you got to be careful, because after we crossed paths like this and he was behind me, my back was to him, my experience ended. So it could be that he was actually just doing his job and helping me in the moment, or it could have easily been a deceiver who was just pretending to be friendly for a second and then took me out of my experience as soon as my back was to him. I'm hoping it was the latter this time. Or not the latter. I'm hoping he was a friendly this time and he was just taking me to where I needed to go or whatever. So I come back to physical, and then it's getting closer to the morning now, and I already had plenty of sleep. I feel really well rested, so I just lay there on my back for as long as I can, trying to be as aware as possible. And then I roll over when I feel like I can't take it anymore, and my vessel falls asleep pretty quick, and I get aware again somehow. Not sure if something helped wake me up this time or if I did it on my own, but I get aware again, and this time it's not my childhood house, it's my current house. And what happened was a bit lengthy, but essentially I was just exploring my whole entire house, and there was really dark sections of the house where if you go into them you lose your senses. So I found out that if I just close my eyes, I can navigate the really dark areas in darkness, and I can use my light and dark perceptions that I've been working on to still kind of make out where things are, or just feel around with my hand and stuff, so I can navigate around the house. So after about 5-10 minutes of just searching around, some stuff started to come at me in the form of my pets. One was taking the form of my cat, some others were taking the form of my dog. A whole group of them came out of one room at one point, and I thought maybe there was a few friendlies in there, and maybe there wasn't. And I think this group that's around me, that's posted up in my house, I think some of them do have my back, and I think they're trying to figure out which ones are the deceivers within their own group, and they are protecting me in certain ways. But at the end of the day, we gotta weigh out these deceivers. So one of them, I guess, stuck around that big group. There was like two of my dog, and when I turned my back to that group, one of the dogs transformed into like a human form, and he tried to pull me out of body, and I kind of caught him. Like, I kind of sensed it and turned around real quick, and he quickly shifted back into a dog and just ran away. So then a cat showed up, and this cat I've seen many times. I've caught it many times, and I let it go many times because I have a really personal connection with who this is from physical. And they got transmuted once into an animal already, into a more base form, a more harmless form, and they still didn't take that as a warning to stop messing with me. So they kept at it. I caught him again, and I kept telling them, I know you're not my cat, and I know you can speak, so speak. And he tried to play dumb at first. He tried to run away, get away from me, and then run into a mirror. I followed him into the mirror. I grabbed him again, and then at one point he was just laying there acting like a little smug, and I said, I know you can speak, so speak. And he finally said something, and I was like, good, and that's all I needed to know that you're not my cat, my real cat. So I went up to him and grabbed him, and I said, now I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. And as I started to break his shoulder, I kind of caught myself, and I was like, I don't want to do this. Like, I don't want to be hurting others, even though I have every right to, because I'm defending my home and defending myself. This is complete self-defense. And there's been times where it wasn't self-defense. I'm not perfect, I'll be honest, but this time it was complete self-defense. These guys are messing with my head, messing with my spirit and my soul, and they're trying to claim my house, while I'm trying to strip all my physical attachments. I keep waking up into this bullshit that I gotta deal with before I can go to the next parts of my journey. So, and also with my family and everything, I still got so much love for them, and I'm staying as connected as I can to all the people I love here. And I understand to you guys that every time I make a video like this, it makes you concerned about me. But I just hope in time things become a little bit more clear for everybody. And just hopefully you don't worry about me as much, because I feel like I have a good hold of what I'm doing, and that's enough for me. And this is the stuff that's feeding my soul and making me happy. and I still love being around all of you guys. It's just there's more going on with me right now that's hard to explain. So anyway, I called myself and I was like, I know who this is, and I don't want to hurt him in any way physically. So I had the idea just to go outside and throw him in the pool. And that's what I did. So I went outside with him in my hand and I just tossed him into the pool. And midair, he started to transmute again into an action figure. So he tried to harm my hand in some way, have malicious intent against me, and he got transmuted for it again. So he gets transmuted into a more base form, and I'm about to turn around and go back inside, and I start hearing some screams from him, like something's killing him. And I got scared and nervous because I didn't want him to die, so I ran over to the pool and jumped in there to try and figure out what happened. And it was his action figure form torn up into a bunch of pieces. So whatever was waiting in the pool was waiting for me to do that, and they had their own thoughts and feelings about the whole situation, which is what I've been trying to warn everybody, is that I'm not necessarily the one that's going to give you the business, even though I'm able to, and I should sometimes. There's things around me that are taking care of this for me. Once I get the deceivers in the right position, those other ones are the ones that are taking you out. And I don't even know what happens to you after that, I'll be honest. But it doesn't sound good from the screams I heard coming from the pool. So I jump in there and scoop him up, and it's already too late. The soul is gone and in a bunch of pieces, or it's still intact. The soul's still in there and he's just beat up and crippled. One or the other. And I scoop him out of the pool, and as I scoop him out, it just starts turning into a bunch of little quartz crystals on my hand, and they're sticking to my hands, and they keep multiplying too. And I just think, okay, I'm just going to sprinkle them around my other crystals I got in the yard, and then I'm going to take them inside and sprinkle them over my crystals in my bedroom. So when I got to my bedroom, something took me out again and tried to give me the trick where my senses dropped and the experience ended and I'm back in physical. But a new one came into my room, and it gave me the sense right away. Oh, I'm still out of body, because I knew I just was. I got lucid, dropped my lucidity real quick, almost tricked myself thinking I was in physical because that's what they do, and then boom, I'm out and lucid again. So now I'm exploring my house again. I go out of my room, and I know a few times there's been like these extra rooms in my house that shouldn't be there, and these are people setting up shop and who don't belong there, and they're using me as protection to keep parasites away, but they're keeping me asleep so that they can have their own selfish desires out of body. So the first room was interesting because there was no one in there, but everything was on. So clearly the guy was hiding, whoever was in there, in the room with me, and I didn't find him. And he had 2 screens set up. He had an iPad set up, and he had a TV screen set up. And I just had the sense to break the TV screen a little bit, so I damaged that a little bit. And it was also Mario. Mario was on the screen and on the iPad, which gives me a feeling that it might have been Chris Pratt, because he just had that movie come out with Mario, and that's a possibility. But I don't know for sure because I didn't see anybody in there. I just broke the screen and I left. Oh, and also when I had the idea to kind of be like, who is this really in my room right now? A little version of Jesus popped up in front of me, Looked like he was at a news table broadcasting something, and he had no scalp and it just his brain, and how Jesus looks regular, like when you see him in pictures and stuff on Earth today. And like I said, he was scalped and he had a brain coming out of his head. Well, it kind of looked like a heart too, like a heart brain. And I didn't really know what to make of that, but he was kind of looking at me like he was like smirking at me, like he was happy that I was doing something. I didn't really think too much of it. I left that room, broke the screen, left that room, and then went into the next room down, and that ended up being really annoying and bothering, because it was the person I just had over this weekend in my house, who I thought was my friend and who I've been helping. He's been helping me, I've been helping him. But when I get these shared experiences with him, it was very similar to an Albert situation where things just weren't adding up. So I couldn't just let it go. And when I go out of body and when I'm laying in my bed, my intent is to disconnect and let go of everything and just get aware. I'm not putting malicious intent to connect to or find anybody specifically unless I have good intentions for them. So when these things show up in my house, it's them that are invading me. I'm not pursuing them. So the second door tried to trick me and say it was locked at first, so I just wiggled it a few times and it opened. It ended up being my boy, and right away I just said, I fucking knew it. I ran right over to him. I wasn't asking any questions, having any conversations. He tried to hide under the covers and teleport away. And I grabbed his fucking neck, and I thought about breaking his neck, I'll be honest. But again, I caught myself and I'm like, nah, like that's too harsh. His neck was messed up already. And this guy, they think he's one of their strongest ones. And I picked him up and I slammed him easy. Literally. I couldn't do it with one hand, and I usually try with one hand first, but I had my weaker left hand on his neck, so I think that's why I couldn't do it with one hand. So I just, if they're a little heavier out there, which I've encountered beings like this where I have trouble picking them up with one hand, a lot of them I can, so I just use my other hand that I don't use very often. So I just slammed him on the ground, right off the bed, right onto the ground. He landed face first and did not move, like he got seriously hurt. And I was about to kick him in the head, but something stopped me from doing that. And I guess this is where I'm so grateful for my protectors and stuff, because they stop me from going too far sometimes. And I think this night was basically just to give a warning shot back to these deceivers that are coming in my home. And they got it. One of their main ones that's always on me, that works against me, is done. He's completely transmuted, and he's never going to be able to put his filthy hands on me again. And in my opinion, that crystal stuff was indicative that his soul was still alive, and possibly realized that I was one of the ones that was actually trying to salvage relationships and make peace and all that stuff. And it felt like his energy was just sticking to me, like he never wants to leave me again. And that's what it felt like when those crystals were on me, and that's the intuition I was getting from that. This other one, I really hope they take all this experience serious, and this is why I'm posting it online today. And it happened last night and this morning, so that everybody knows who's involved with this stuff, and they heard it from my mouth, what my part in it and what I did. So there's no confusion to say, no, Steve was this, Steve was that. No, I'm the one that took care of them with the help of my guardians in my own home. And I've been doing this for a while now, cleaning up all this shit in my house, and they just keep coming. So, fair warning shot. You guys need to back off, or what happened to that cat last night is eventually going to happen to you probably. And also, yeah, that's all. That's really all I wanted to say. And I feel like I'm doing everybody a solid by sharing my personal experiences, and giving you guys warnings. I don't want this to happen to anybody, but if there's going to be people out there that take advantage of other unknowing souls and continue to try and keep the general populace from waking up fully and getting their connection back with their souls and fractals and all that, you guys are going to get outed, and the more you do it, the faster you're going to get outed. And I just showed, I keep saying but I'm actually getting help, obviously, but I just showed everybody that you can come into my physical environment on Earth, act like my friend as much as you want, but I'm going to figure out who's deceiving me eventually, and you're going to get whopped. The dude got body slammed, and he wasn't moving, and he's supposed to be one of their strongest, and I took him out, no problem. So I'm not going to act like I'm that great. I just know my own abilities and what I'm capable of, and I'm not afraid to use my abilities on those I feel like are threatening my livelihood. So that's all I really wanted to share, and I'll share more significant experiences, and I'm hoping when everything calms down, I'll be able to make more helpful videos, not just personal experiences that sound like negative ones, because there are a lot of positive things happening too. I just feel like this is the valuable information to share right now. And also, at some point, I'm going to make a video about everything I learned, everything I think I should share, because there's some things that people aren't ready to hear for their own personal journey, and it might just sound off-putting coming out of my mouth. So I'm gonna make like a really nice outline for myself on things I feel like I should share one day, and it's gonna be a really nice video about conscious transitions, negative entities, positive entities, flying up layers, going down layers, losing consciousness and regaining your lucidity, and when to expect for your senses to drop and stuff like that. It's going to be super helpful for whoever wants to listen to it, and that's it. I'm going to get back on the path of helping people, because I don't like dealing with this stuff in my own life too much. It starts to make me feel off, like I'm focusing on myself too much. But I got to do what I got to do to handle this stuff, so I can get in a better position to help others. And that's pretty much it. This stuff is feeding my soul, so I'm going to keep pursuing it, and I'm still living my life here as best I can. So I hope everybody has a great day, and that's it.